I feel like with certain things in life, it's always great to know when to end something, to stop doing something, whether it be a habit, a way of speaking, or a series, because it's good to end it on a good note than to let it drag on and it becomes something that it wasn't meant to be. In regards to the Senju Tales, what this was a series where I told stories about my past and my present, but the whole theme was regarding me outside of YouTube. And I look back because I realized the only reason why I wanted to drag this series so far that I have till now is because I've done it for so long. The actual reasons why I did it kind of got blurry, and I started using this series for more things, more stories that I didn't really intend to tell. And I believe before, I might do it even further, that this is in fact a good place to end talking about my dad. And you might think, why is that if you're not really someone who follows me? If you are, I make a lot of dad jokes. I make a lot of statements regarding a father, you know what I'm saying? Which goes to show that there is something there. There's something really deep that doesn't really bother me, that affects my actions anymore, but it was a big part of who I am today. I feel like pain, struggles, and good people is what shapes who you can be. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by who you can be, I feel like there's different ways your life could go into a direction. And I feel like the only true way where you can become a whole human being is if you understand certain things. And I do believe pain is one of the most important things, because, life will throw it at you. And if you're not built for it, it can destroy you depending on the amount of pain that you can experience in regards to where you're at in your life if you never experienced that. Now that's only my take on life. Okay. I'm only one person. I only lived to a certain degree and I don't know what I'm doing with my hands, but I do know that Alienware is pretty awesome, because without them, this video wouldn't even be that. Would you call this a sponsor? No, I would call them more of a team effort. They came through, they had an idea that I had an idea that we collabed on it to let's go make a video with my parents. Now, unfortunately, I forget that my family is a fragmented thing. My overlook on family is not a whole one because of how mine is. And I'm not going to talk about that in detail. But like I said, what we are talking about is my relationship and the truth that I hid away from y'all about my father.
Hard work, many hours, even some tears, a loss of a lot of friends, and much more got me here. I know how you talk, I can smell it from you.
One beer does not make me.
You're tipsy is not tipsy.
And I'm not tipsy.
You've lied to me back to back with it. We're not doing that.
I want to make it clear that my dad is in my life, so to speak. He is there. I could call him right now and he might not answer. He might answer. He might never call back until like a long time, but I'm pretty sure he will call back. In fact, a lot of the jokes I say give the, I guess, sense that he left my life. He more so wasn't. How do I describe this? It's a complicated story. But before I talk about that, let's talk about the good stuff first. You know what I'm saying? We got in the car with my dog. I'm just like, yo, go, my actual dog. Yo, Goku, let's go. And we walked to the, the fancy ass mobile studio that Alienware got. And we drove all the way to my parents' house, which is like a few hours, drive, whatever. Surprised my peoples, my mom mainly. And it was pretty cool.
Am I on glass right now? That's huge. I saw one of the videos he had before, but I had no idea it was that big. It's like a little house.
Pretty cool. I mean, personally, it was weird for me to come back in general with something, because this is the hood, okay, right? And the first thoughts I have when I bring like the Alienware truck here is just like, damn, we gotta leave before sunsets because I am legend and shit. That's not how it actually is out here, but almost got broken into before, so it's like, that little fear. But for the most part, like, this is kind of fucking awesome. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna see a lot more people like around. When I used to live here a lot, I had like a lot of friends and shit.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
Fun fact, when I was first coming to the Alienware thing to like meet you guys, I never been to the Chula Vista area before. I just saw it.
Chula Vista?
I thought, yeah. I didn't know if this was real or not. I just knew I'm going closer and closer to Mexico. And as someone who, you know, recently seen Breaking Bad and the cartel shit, I'm like, oh, this was a trap. They got me. And then like I just saw the van in like a nice area. I'm like, oh, okay, just kidding. We're fine.
Now, originally this Final Senju Tales was supposed to be an uplifting thing, but because I don't think about personal things and where my life actually is when in my personal space, I forgot how fragmented that actually was.
Lay down.
I'm just going to my car.
You're drunk. Let go.
Even though I have these issues with my father, a lot of times I would like to think that he really would like to see and experience where I'm at, you know? And there's like a lot of countless times where I realize, you know, it's just not going to be the way I want it to be. But for the most part, besides all that, which we're going to talk about, it was cool. There's a lot of footage that you couldn't see where some of my homies that I grew up with in that area came to say what's good to me and hang out and all that shit. Now, with that being said, it was cool. It was really hot that day. And for some reason, the power supply that we had would not let the air conditioner work. What actually ended up happening was I tried to do a Q&A, but it didn't really go far because it was hot. So this is really what you got of that.
So, this is a hot... let me stop focusing on the heat. I can't. I'm gonna die. This watch coming off. I don't know. My arm about to come off. It's melting. So essentially, I never really talked about it, but the Senju Tales thing I do, where I tell stories and stuff on my channel, it's cool. It's nice, but I talk a lot, and it's not good for me to have a series that. What's the word I'm looking for? My brain is melting. What's the word? Enhancing a bad habit. What is it? Influencing. I don't need a series influencing me getting into issues because the last Senju Tales I did with what?
I don't think that's.
You got to speak up because you don't have a mic.
What you were looking for?
You got to talk here. Talk here.
I don't think that's what you were looking for.
All right, cool. So I don't really have a topic, honestly. This is probably the most unscripted video that I've ever done in my life. I just wanted to come here, and that was it. I was hyping it up. I thought about playing Fortnite or some other stuff. But now that I'm here and I'm just dying, I'm just like, damn, I wanted to spend my last hours just talking about anything. Like, tell me you love me? I don't know. I'm not going to make it. I think I'm high drunk. Is that a thing?
It's not a thing.
Hot drunk?
Heat stroke.
I'm dying?
Heat stroke.
I'm dying. So what's your name going to be?
It's not real.
All right, chat. Chat, comment down below what her name is going to be for future times, or if she shows up and all that good stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. You know, I gave you a chance to get a good one. Now they're gonna fuck it up. Look what you did.
No script. You should have had a script.
I had a script.
What happened?
I am hot.
I'm sweating.
What the fuck I was gonna ask. I wrote it down, but I'm not in the mood.
What's the temperature? What's the temperature so everyone knows?
Satan piss.
No, seriously.
Now after that, it was really a day. We called it a day. We went to drive back. It was a lot of traffic. Okay. After it was all said and done, I looked back at the footage and I just saw, I seen rather a lot of things that reminded me that fuck, you know, I can't make this the video that it was intended to be because of just what is, and that is my family. I do need to mention that my parents are not together. They broke up a long time ago, years ago, but life is sometimes cruel and certain things have to be a certain way because life is like that. Hence why my parents are together. It is the most weirdest thing for me to be around, and I don't like to be around it. I don't, it's just uncomfortable. Like imagine looking outside of a window, but the glass is broken. I mean, I can't really go far with that analogy. The window's broken. All right. It's still together only because I'm here. That's it. And it's a weird feeling for me. For the longest time, if you've been an OG fan of me, you notice the dad jokes have been going left and right. And a lot of ways it was mainly to cover like the meme aspect of what those dad jokes cover, but it always came from a true place. My relationship with my dad, not for the most part. When I was a kid, I was spoiled as fuck. I was hella spoiled. My dad was a lawyer. Lawyers are pretty successful, right? So you can understand the life that I gained from it. With that being said, though, I got everything I wanted, but you know, I didn't really get to hang out with my dad as I did with my mom. Now, something I always wanted as a kid. Now, life, like I mentioned, is cruel, and we ended up losing everything and moving to the hood at an age to where I thought I was going to die immediately getting there. Live in the suburbs rather for like a good part of your younger years. You hear all these stories about ghetto and you think these areas that aren't ghetto are ghetto until you go to the real one. You just think it's over. You're gonna fucking die and this is it. Good game. I just laid there, bitch. I'm just like, all right, take me, hood. Playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas really fucked up my expectations, but we're not gonna talk about that. But for the most part, I was able to meet friends and have a good time doing so and make a lot of good memories. And it was great. My parents got divorced and I moved to Michigan. As a lot of you guys heard me say, I lived in Michigan for a lot of, I guess, 4 years, 3 years. Went to go visit my dad because, you know, there's a part of me that wanted to believe that the problems that were there with my father, which were a lot of them, were alcohol and just the words that were used that he would say to me would just be gone. Went there. It seemed like it. And my dad knew I didn't really have anything in Michigan. It was both places at that point. My parents were both struggling. So when, you know, I went there, he made me believe off of more so again jutsu, if you like anime, like an illusion. Everything was cool. I got there. It was in fact the same. When it came to the family aspect, there was an expectation of my dad being there in my life that I had that I never really got, which after everything went down the drain and the lawyer thing kind of went somewhere else, I just kept on seeing the complete absence of my father and more so like a husk. There was a disconnect to where there was a belief that if money in certain situations, which are really far in between, was given, it would fix the fact of no communication being had, period. Or a lot of just things you should never say to your kid being said, just resolved, you know? This is something that is a vast story that I cannot talk about in one video because I just don't have the time. When YouTube was just starting to be something, I was showing my mom and my dad, who were both there at the time in the house, what I had. My mom was, you know, being supportive. My mom was mainly the reason why I'm here. But my dad, I could just tell he didn't care. I just, even though I knew how, you know, shit is, I wanted him to care. I wanted him to see that, look, I'm able to get out of here. Look at this. Look what I fucking did. I know you didn't believe I could do this from what you said to me, but look at it. Look at my fucking PayPal. Look at the shit that I'm doing now. You know what I'm saying? I can do this. You know, I'm not a fucking failure, as was said. The reason why I tell this story specifically is because with living in the hood, with being in a situation to where I didn't really have anything, you know, I had something and I lost it. And to being in a situation to where what I valued as people who would never do certain things to me would do it, I've realized that I was in charge of who I can become and what I can do and what my limits are. And with that realization, that's who I am. That's why I am who I am today. I'm pretty sure if my dad, you know, didn't fucking do that, I would have been spending money like crazy because I never made that much money before, you know. I would have probably actually failed. And even though I don't have the best of dads, I'm able to realize as who I am that I needed my dad to be who he was. As hard as it was for me to have that realization that the power that you can get from pain, it literally can change and make you be something great. I just couldn't harbor any negativities towards my father. And I felt so mad about it because I'm just like, I mean, this was a realization that happened a little bit ago because there was a point to when, and I deal with depression. I talked about this before and it's not from my father and shit like that. It's just in my brain. I can't, you know, and a lot of times when you feel sadness, you feel like there's a reason for it. So I started tying things to it. And the one thing I tied to it was my dad. And I talked about it with somebody. And the one thing I realized was just like, I don't harbor any ill will to my dad because no matter how hard I wanted to hate this person and mainly just only use it for jokes and meme about it whenever I saw fit, I couldn't. I don't have it in me to hate anybody. It's just not me. So that realization, and with this video, I wanted to let go of a series, and at the same time, I wanted to just let go of the jokes and whatever animosity I had left. And I feel pretty free, I guess. I don't know. Through all the chasing and wanting and realizing that my dad will never be how other fathers would be, and I would never get that father really like that, I wouldn't change him, because that would mean changing me. So I had to accept everything. And that was my dad too. So with that being said, even though he's not really there, I still love my dad. And you're not going to hear me say anything negative anymore about that, because I feel like you have to let go of things that hurt you, or you're never going to grow. And that's just, you just got to know when to let go. You got to know when to let it fuel you, when to give you energy, and you got to know when to go beyond it. And it's time for me to go beyond plus ultra. Anyways, thank you for watching. This was, in fact, the Final Senju Tale. I will do another series where I tell stories that regard my YouTube side of life. What this was supposed to be was my personal side of life, but it got a little bit messed up, so it no longer was that. So we're fixing that. And I guess the one true thing how I should end this series, because it was a secret on my channel about like my name. I never really told people that, you know what I'm saying? I didn't feel like I needed to. But to the people that followed this series and they stuck with watching a lot of episodes to even say they love it, their favorite series. I know there's people that favorited every single episode, and it just boggles me, because this was a piece of me. There's only one last piece that I could give before we end this. And that's to introduce, you know, to those who liked it and to those who are new who didn't. Leon, nice to meet you. Yeah, shook your hand, shake. And I'll see you guys later to whatever I drop and whatever more I have to give, because I feel like there's a lot more that I have to give outside of my personal life.
Yeah. Don't know how I did it, but I did it somehow.
You did it. That's my boy.